Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3451. Today's date is 14th of July 2025. It's been almost like morning at 7:47 a.m. Should we talk directly question? Yeah, let's just go. Okay, yeah. Question is, what are the best website or tool to build your online store in India? Okay, what is exactly this question? Alright, so this question is actually associated with the business studies and stuff like that. In the future, I wanted to establish a business. I need to know regarding about what is actually startup, what is actually business. I need to aware of all those technical and little bit aspects of the business so that when I will on the field, I I will like basically it's kind of like a somebody being a homework for exam. All right, yeah. So that's why I'm actually asking this question. By the way, I already mentioned regarding about what is actually my business and stuff regarding about all those things. I will not gonna mention this thing again. So I will directly jump into the topic. All right, yeah. So the topic is that what is actually best way to start your online presence or best website tool to build your online store in India. Okay, best website. Okay, what exactly? Like I'm not actually selling anything at all. Like I'm not actually even planning to sell anything online. Okay, it's not really that kind of like a stuff that I want. I am providing services instead of product. Okay, so yeah, so this is topic is kind of like something unrevelant for me. Okay, or maybe like I will not gonna use this thing, but still as a person, as a business, as a like if you are kind of like a going to that particular business thing, you should supposed to be aware of all the situation. All right, yeah. So regarding about online store, which online kind of like a platform would you choose, and what is actually okay, yeah, because let me tell you one thing, if you are kind of like a selling some sort of products online, it's a very different game. Okay, yeah. Like a selling product offline means like that in a store or things like that, it's a very different game. Okay, both are very different game. Okay, yeah. Let's just talk about first online. Okay, yeah. If you are went to the online, then what will gonna happen? What is exactly the stuff? Will you get kind of like a customer or not? Or kind of like a somebody will you get kind of like a something earn money or not? There is lot of thing. Okay, yeah. Now recently I just buy kind of like a something a collagen protein is a kind of like a something a powder. Okay, yeah. It's a kind of like a something best for skin nourishment. Okay, yeah, add a glow in your face and stuff like that. So this is HK Vital collagen powder. Okay, I buy this thing online. Okay, yeah. Now why I'm actually telling this thing about, okay, yeah, and what exactly is all this stuff and stuff. All right, yeah. um Before all those things, I wanted to mention regarding about what is actually online, what is actually the online presence in India, and why this is actually matter. Okay, yeah. Almost like a maybe 10 year ago, online store or selling some sort of online was kind of like a something like not possible. Mostly Flipkart and Amazon, they are mostly selling their stuff through online e-commerce website. Okay, yeah. But right now in 2025, things are much different now. Okay, yeah. Like you like a Flipkart and Amazon, yes, these are kind of like some websites still exist, still are millions of people are buying from their stuff. But there are other websites too. Okay, yeah, and they are also kind of like selling some sort of stuff. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing that why does this online thing is kind of like a booming, why does people are want to buy online. Okay, yeah. Because of that, key on the physical store, you cannot get that thing. What do you mean by that? You cannot get that thing. Let's just imagine. Okay, I'll recently I just buy the collagen powder, HK Vitals. This is a kind of like a medical product, by the way. Okay, yeah, it's a kind of like a some collagen. It's a kind of like a some add nourishment to your skin and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. If I want to buy this product, obviously I have to go to medical, right? Yeah, because it's a medicine. Okay, it's not a kind of like a something kind of like a something Cadbury or chocolate. No, it's a kind of like a something medicine. Okay, yeah, and you need a kind of like a something valid approval to get that thing. All right, yeah, but still it is not really that medical. Yeah, still you could kind of, it's a kind of like a something protein shake powder. Okay, yeah, but if you want to buy this kind of like a stuff, you have to go to the medical. And almost, let me tell you one thing, almost 70% chance that you might not get this thing on the medical, by the way. And I'm talking about a kind of like a something medical which is very popular in my city, in my local city. You 70% chance that you might not get. Okay, yeah. Why? Because let me tell you one thing, I'm living in local city. Okay, yeah. Here are people are kind of like a something, kind of like a something taking care of their basic thing. Like basically you will get a kind of like a something Dettol. You will get kind of like Dettol is a kind of like a soap. Okay, or you will get kind of like a something paracetamol, or kind of like a something stuff which is kind of like a bitterly common. Okay, yeah. But if you want to buy a kind of like a collagen powder or any protein powder or anything at all, you will not get that thing here. Why? Because the in here, like in my local city, people are not really consume that much protein and things like that. Okay, yeah. Why? Because they don't really aware of all those things. Okay, most of people don't really know what is actually protein for them. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like a something very difference. I'm not kind of like a saying this thing for like a multiple city, like a, like if you went to metro city or something like that, then you will get anything at all. Okay, yeah, you will get anything like a protein, anything at all. Because in the metro city there are very different kind of people. Okay, yeah, and different kind of people have different needs. And obviously metro cities actually considered to be a such a people who is kind of like a something like that key, they want everything. Okay, and that cities actually serve everything for them. Okay, yeah, like basically if you went to Bombay, okay, yeah, you need a protein powder, you will definitely get the protein powder. Okay, yeah. If you want a kind of like a part of helicopter, you will get that thing in Bombay too. Okay, yeah, because this is what it is. You will not get any part of helicopter in my local city. You don't really get that. But if you went to metro city, you will get that thing. It might be kind of like a little bit of hassle or something like that, but you will get some sort of thing, like you will get some sort of information regarding about how you get and things and like. And if you are kind of like willing to spend some sort of amount of money, obviously within a couple of days you might get that particular thing. How much strange was it, but you will still definitely get that thing because it's in metro city. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that this is what kind of like a something, as I mentioned, this is what kind of like a something difference between the city and what does people need it. Okay, because local city are mostly base for what is actually most of the people want, and kind of like a fill their needs from what they want. Okay, collagen or protein powder is not a thing that in local city everyone wants that. Okay, yeah. um but in metro city there are very different kind of people and stuff like that. Okay, this is one thing. Now let me talk about kind of like a something online presence. Okay, because we are living in 2025. Okay, everyone has a mobile phone, everyone are using internet. Okay, and now internet penetration is a kind of like a something very different thing. Okay, what do you mean by that? Okay, let's just talk about the how do I know about that protein powder, how do I know about that collagen and things like that. Is because of that I watched couple of videos. Okay, regarding about the protein powder, how much it kind of like a matter to me, how much is kind of like a something really essential for me and stuff like that. Okay, because of like I get all those information from the internet, like I watch couple of YouTube videos and things and that I I am bitterly influenced by those things, and that's why I just wanted to buy that thing. Okay, So basically is this thing online presence or kind of like a having a social media or kind of like a something internet presence is kind of like a something giving you wide variety of very different thing that they want. Okay, yeah. Like basically is this thing, there is no chance that I will get to know about this protein powder, okay, offline. There is no chance at all. Online is a kind of like a something way that I will get to know all those things, what is actually protein powder, what is actually matter to me and things and stuff like that. And that's why I just buy that stuff. Okay, yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that I get to know about this product through online, and I cannot get that product in offline. Okay, yeah, because I live in local city, so yeah. And I'm not living in metro city, I'm living local city. Okay, yeah. So what kind of like a something way to get that product? Obviously online. Okay, yeah. Yeah, like basically I just need a kind of like a something online. So that's why most of people are actually creating a online business, because online business are kind of like a something meant to be sell their product in different part of region. What do you mean by that? Okay, yeah. So let's just imagine, like as I mentioned earlier, I want protein powder. So mostly I get protein powder in metro city. Okay, yeah. But if I live in another kind of like a local city or anything at all, the exposure of that particular that thing is negligible. Definitely not. Okay, yeah. Online shop is kind of like a filling that gap. Online shop is filling that gap. Online shop is kind of like a realize that local people, the people who actually live in local city, they also want that kind of like a things like a protein powder or anything at all. Yeah. Like they don't really get in that particular city, things like that. So basically now sell their business to the local city, because you will get kind of like a little bit of values and monies and stuff like that. Okay, because in the local city people are willing to spend that much of amount of money, even if when they get some sort of values from that product or things like that. So that's why I heard about that particular product which kind of like a matter to me through online services. I want to this product offline, but I don't really get it because I live in I live in kind of like a local city. Okay, yeah. And what kind of like a choice do I have to get this product? Obviously online. So I went to Flipkart, or then I went to Amazon and things like that. Okay, yeah. Now Flipkart and Amazon, these are kind of like a some very big player. All right, yeah. Now let's just try to understand from kind of like a seller point of perspective. Yeah, let's just imagine that you have a protein powder and you want to sell your protein powder in local city. What kind of like a something way to sell that thing? Like obviously online, but there are multiple ways to online. Very different website to sell your product. Okay, yeah. But let's just understand from customer point of perspective. Okay, yeah. A local city or local personal or local kind of person who actually live in local city, that person is always bit really hesitate to use kind of like a something online, or as well as literally hesitate to spend some sort of money in online stuff. Because let me tell you one thing, in local city mostly people are consuming internet for only entertainment purpose or kind of like a informative purpose. Okay, yeah. They are not meant to be kind of like a something they are not meant to be kind of like a somebody buying some sort of stuff is because of kind of like they are getting something like, no, means like that ki uh, like in local city mostly people are consuming internet, they are not buying stuff. But if in the local city they might have kind of like a somebody found a particular guy who is willing to spend some sort of money, then that business is for them. Okay, yeah. Amazon and Flipkart is kind of like a doing that thing and people trust it. Okay, so that's why people have trust that they are kind of like a selling those things on Flipkart and Amazon. Okay, like let me tell you one thing. I am a customer. I want to buy some sort of thing. I will not gonna buy anything from random website, because trust is really matter. And I'm living in India. Scam is a kind of like a very normal are here. Okay, yeah. Like I've been through scam and OLX and things like that. It was like a really hassle. I experienced this thing. So my main kind of like a goal is that I just whatever the stuff that I wanted to buy online, I just have to buy from Amazon or Flipkart. That's it. Because these are kind of like a giving me a value, but as well as kind of like a trust. Okay, yeah. Because like there are millions of people are using this thing, and so that's why, yeah. So Amazon and Flipkart, these are kind of like a somebody very big player that I trust and that I would definitely want to buy, and I'm not really kind of like a feel that he like I'll get scam and something like that. Okay, yeah. So as a me, as I will kind of like a somebody spend money on Amazon and Flipkart, these are kind of like a somebody player. Okay, yeah. But if you are looking from seller point of perspective, then this might be very different game. Okay, yeah. What is actually different game of this thing? Okay, yeah. Let me tell you one thing regarding about the selling business, online selling business. Okay, yeah. What is actually this thing and that thing? Okay, yeah. In the online selling business, okay, yeah, you are not just selling the product. Okay, yeah. You are selling the experience of that product. Okay, yeah. You can sell experience of that product. What do you mean by that? Okay, yeah. Let me tell you, okay, how I buy this collagen protein powder. Okay, yeah. I watched the video on YouTube platform. Okay, yeah. There is a guy who is kind of like a talking about this particular product. He mentioned that ki because of this product, the protein increase, your glow is increased, this and that and that. I am influenced by this thing. Then I watch other video regarding about that particular product. Okay, yeah, they also mentioned the same thing. I was actually influenced by that. Okay, yeah. Another that ki I just watched that video and I never really kind of like a make a choice to buy that particular product. No, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. Then what exactly happened that couple of days after I was kind of like a scrolling through Instagram and suddenly I see the advertisement of this product. Yeah, I don't know why, but I seen that particular product. Oh yeah, not only on the Instagram, but as well as I seen that particular product in kind of like a, some various website advertisement. It's just like how does internet knows all this thing? I just watch a kind of like a, only one or two video. I didn't really make a choice, but still these are kind of like a somebody website or these are kind of like a somebody ads are kind of like a somebody showing me all those things, showing me this protein powder, showing me this and that. Okay, yeah. Why this thing happened? This is actually happened. It's because of the kind of like a something the 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 kind of like a something targeting people. Yeah, like deep targeting people. What do you mean by deep targeting people? Okay, yeah. So if I am a kind of like a person who is kind of like a searching for protein or kind of like a something that I got a video and that video is kind of like a somebody talk about the protein things like that. At the first time, I just kind of like a somebody knows like a indirectly because I didn't really search for that product. I just kind of like a watching couple of videos and suddenly in that particular video that influencer kind of like a says this thing about this particular product, right? Yeah. Now next time I search for that particular product, Google knows that thing. Google knows that he is the guy, he is actually searching for this protein powder. Okay, yeah. Now let me tell you thing what exactly happened. Okay, yeah. Google has already have information regarding about me, like what is actually my age, where I belong, and things like that. Protein powder is a kind of like a something that key who is a person, who is a target audience. Okay, yeah. A target audience means like that key person that willing to spend some sort of amount of money. Okay, yeah. So basically, Google is actually understand that. Understand what is actually understand that key it understand where are you from, your local city. Okay, I am living in local city, so that means getting this product on my location is almost negligible. One thing. Another thing is that my age is almost like a 30. Okay. So basically the product, that protein powder, the collagen protein powder is actually meant for kind of like a such a people who is actually cross 30. So basically I am a kind of like a somebody person that in that particular target audience. Okay, yeah. So basically, as also YouTube knows that ki I'm 30, so probably Google also knows that he's probably earning some sort of amount of money. Okay, that's why he's actually searching for this collagen powder and stuff like that. All right, yeah. So because of Google is actually check all this mark that his age is 30, he's a kind of like have some sort of amount of money to spend, and he already searched about this kind of like a product. Now show that product in various platform, Instagram, Facebook, or any other kind of like a platform through advertisement. Okay, yeah, that is called deep targeting. like in Google you could do that. In Google you could do that thing, and basically whatever the site that you do, okay, whatever the site that you open, Google has already presence. Like a Google is actually selling their advertisement through their stuff and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing that key Google has entire information regarding about me, regarding about what exactly want. But Google, there is a one thing that he just wants to convince me to buy this product. Yeah, just convince me. That's why he's actually showing this advertisement in various different form. Okay, yeah. Now, if I am kind of like some exposure of this product multiple times, then I would kind of like think about this product. I would kind of like think about that key. Yeah, let's just try. Let's just spend at least like a whatever 200 300 rupees for this product. Let's just spend that amount of money and let's just utilize this thing, because yeah, I am 30. I am kind of like, I don't want to look bad. So probably I would gonna buy this collagen powder. Yeah. So I spend some sort of money and I buy this product. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like something like the online selling thing happened. Okay, yeah. It's not just kind of like something that he just the stuff that you buy online is from your point of perspective. No, it's kind of like something like the online thing, the Google and everything is actually convinced me to buy this product. Okay, now why does Google is actually convinced me to buy this product? Because I am not kind of like a buying this product through Google and things like that. Okay, I didn't really paid that much amount of money. I didn't really paid that much amount of money to Google and stuff like that. So why does Google is actually convincing me to buy this thing and something like that? Okay, yeah. Well, directly Google is not actually earning money from the kind of like a product. Definitely, yeah. But Google is actually kind of like a doing the deep targeting. What's the deep targeting? Okay, yeah. Right now we are living in this world where kind of like a Google and all those kind of like assembly sites have entire information regarding about you, regarding about what you exactly want and stuff like that. Example, yeah, like it's a kind of like a guessing game. Like imagine there is a guy who is actually at the age of 13. Okay, imagine whatever the guy. Okay, yeah. Now you just have to cross question to yourself, not to him. Just cross question. Okay, yeah. Just look at him, look at him, and just like try to think what exactly his age. His age is 30. Okay, yeah. So what kind of like a something that person might be need? Okay, so his age is 30, so might be he's married. Okay, yeah. So if he is married, then probably he's recently married. Okay, because at the age of 30 people are recently married. Okay, yeah. So at the age of 30, if that person recently married, so probably I have to show my product regarding about the travel services. Like I will gonna show this thing that key as a couple should supposed to be go there like a Bali, Switzerland and things like that. I would show my services to that particular product, but that particular guy, that guy is willing to invest because of that. Ki this guy is actually recently married and he wanted to spend some sort of time alone with his wife, and travel is a kind of like a something way to do that thing. So I will kind of like a something as a seller. I'm kind of like a showing the advertisement to the travel and things like that. One thing, another thing is that he's is 30. That means he is kind of like a married, or maybe he's having some sort of kind of like a earning money and somewhere else. Okay, yeah. So this person is really good person to kind of like invest some sort of money, because he might be start some sort of investing some sort of money. So as a, if I'm kind of like a somebody person who is actually selling some sort of financial advertisement or things like that, that where should you supposed to invest some sort of money and things like that, I will kind of like somebody giving the advice that you should supposed to be start saving on this stock or that stock or that stock. Okay, yeah. This is kind of like a something very essential for me for as a kind of like a somebody seller, because I found that I found that kind of like this is my target audience. All right, yeah. Why I am not like a this is kind of like a stuff like if I found a kind of like a guy who is actually at the age of 22, what kind of like a simply difference between. So basically if there is a found I if I found there is a guy who is actually at the age of 22, so what would I kind of like a somebody kind of like a suggest to buy. Okay, at the age of 22 I am actually kind of like giving them some sort of that key travel, yeah, like basically friendship. Okay, yeah. Like basically whatever the friends that you have, just kind of like spend some sort of money on this and that, just be travel or things like that. Okay, yeah. Or at the age of 20, I'm kind of like kind of like convincing him to buy a bike or scooty. Okay, yeah. So basically, I'm kind of like showing the advertisement regarding about buying some sort of scooty, or kind of like something like if there is a girl is a scooty, if there is a boy, if there is a boy in a, if there is a boy, then I would kind of like somebody suggest a bike. Okay, yeah. It's kind of like a somebody is this thing. Okay, at the age of 22, I also kind of like a somebody giving a such particular product regarding about books. Okay, yeah. There are so many books like a Harry Potter books or something like that. Okay, yeah. Or like a camera. Okay, like it's really big enthusiastic. Like if that particular person is really interested regarding about taking a photos, camera is a kind of like a something like that person who is willing to buy or willing to this thing. So I would kind of like a suggest a kind of like a not really heavy camera, but kind of like a somebody entry level camera that cost almost like a 20,000 rupees. That's it. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like a something my as a kind of like a system. If I'm a kind of like a Google, I'm kind of like a no aware of that thing and kind of like a figure it out. I'm showing some sort of product or convincing them to buy this and this product, just understanding the age number of the age and things like that. If there is a guy who is actually kind of like at the age of 57, okay, yeah, what kind of like a sort of product that I am kind of like a willing to serve or willing to convince him to buy. Okay, yeah. Sanitary pad. Okay, at the age of 57, might be that person might be needed. Another thing is that key, like a kind of like a something the chair, which is like a kind of like a something massage chair or something like elongated chair. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that key, I will kind of like a somebody showing them advertisement regarding about the kind of like a somebody travel with like a religious perspective travel, like a Kedarnath or things like that, because at the age of 57, people are willing to travel at religious place or things like that. Okay, yeah. As also I'm actually giving them a kind of like a something offer regarding about massage. Okay, yeah. Like a basically like yeah, there is urban company who is kind of like a willing to give the massage, so probably I'm giving the services to the massage at the age of 57 guy. Okay, yeah. As also like a basically is this thing at the age of 57, that guy might be have a lot of money, because at the age of 57 that person is already achieved everything and he might have a lot of money. So probably I'm kind of like a showing some sort of property. Okay, yeah, kind of like a some property, kind of like a in kind of like a some such a area where not only that much traffic or things like that. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like a something the different choices would come up with a just the age number. Okay, as well as okay, just a age number. If you add a kind of like a simply financial credibility or how much money that earn in the year, or kind of like a what kind of like interest that that person has, then probably you will kind of like a deep, you can target even more deeper. Okay, means like that if I'm kind of like a, I'm really excited about the travel, I'm really excited about the filmmaking and stuff like that, then probably Google is actually kind of like a showing me such advertisement regarding about the filming stuff like a camera or lenses or kind of like a something ND filter or whatever it is. Okay, yeah. Like these are kind of like a something product are associated with the film business. Okay, yeah. So I am a kind of like a something deep target person. So these are kind of like some things are actually happen to convince a customer to a buyer. Okay, yeah. And these are kind of like somebody exist. But dude, this is wrong, na? Yeah, it's a kind of like a somewhat something wrong. But probably is this thing that ki, who do you control? Who do you think? Sa? Like, is it like you just have to ask this question that is it right or wrong? Okay, yeah. Some people say it kind of like somebody wrong, but it's somewhat something right too. Yeah, because let me tell you one thing now. Okay, yeah. Ki if the Google is not actually doing this thing, then people are just kind of like somebody not convinced to buy this thing. Then in the end, the internet is actually providing kind of like a somebody entertainment or kind of like a something like the information. They are just kind of like a that. Okay, they are not meant to be kind of like a somebody add a strong opinion regarding about having the internet, what kind of like a somebody advantage that you get. Okay, yeah. Like a basically as a customer, you don't really get that much advantages. Like a basically like a, you will get kind of like a somebody the entertainment purpose or educational purpose or things like that, like a services that you will get the product and things like that. It like basically is this thing selling the online product to the kind of like a local city and things like that. It's kind of like a something that ki, those people who are actually willing to buy those product through online, they are kind of like a part of such a community where they are kind of like a say this thing that ki, online is something really good. Because of this thing I am kind of like improving myself, I'm looking really good. Because of that, yeah, I just buy this collagen powder. So this is what it is. It's a kind of like a very long game, dude. Okay, yeah. At somewhat it's kind of like something wrong, it's somewhat it's kind of like something right. I am not kind of like a something person to choose what is actually right or wrong. It's kind of like something the uh, person deception, like what is actually the customer what they want and what kind of like a thinking about this particular product, his choice. Okay, I will not gonna convince him to do anything at all. So this is entire thing is actually happened in a online selling business and something like that. Okay, I convince people to buy that stuff. All right. Okay, now what is actually way to kind of like buy the online? Okay, as I mentioned, Flipkart and Amazon, these are kind of like a assembly way, means like that, okay, whatever the product that you are have, you just have to kind of like a list the product to that particular website. Okay, that key I am a kind of like a somebody this seller and I have this product. Okay, yeah, I want to sell my product through your website like Amazon and Flipkart. So Amazon and Flipkart take kind of like a simply percentage of the profit, like percentage of the product. Like basically, if your product is almost like 1,000 rupees, they will take almost like a maybe 20% or maybe 25%, whatever it is. Okay, so that means almost like a 200 rupees they will get, almost like a 800 rupees that you will get. The advantage of using this kind of like a Flipkart and Amazon is because of that ki Flipkart and Amazon are already used millions of people. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing, your product is kind of like established in front of millions of people. Okay, like before you are kind of like selling a product to the hundreds of people, but right now through the Amazon and Flipkart, your product is actually shown in front of millions of product. Okay, yeah. As well as Google is actually convinced your product to buy them. Okay, regarding about what is actually the product that you have and what is actually this and that, something like that, what is actually the marketing that you do regarding about this product and something like that. Google knows that thing and Google is kind of like a convince your product to buy the people and things like that. It's somewhat kind of like something really helpful to you. Okay, yeah. Like this is kind of like a Flipkart and Amazon. Okay, but you cannot control the things like that. You cannot control the kind of like a somebody selling and things, and you just have a list. That's it. Okay, yeah. The entire thing is actually done by the Amazon and Flipkart. That's it. Okay, yeah. Like a delivery or dispatch or return or whatever the hassle regarding about that product, things like that. They will control everything. Okay, yeah. You just kind of like a somebody selling the product. That's it. Okay, you are not really aware of that technical stuff and things like that. Amazon, Flipkart do all those things, do control everything. Okay, yeah. As well as who is actually deep targeting and things like that, where is your product should supposed to be market with which customer and things like that. This is all those things are kind of like somebody controlled by the Flipkart and Amazon. Okay, yeah. You will not gonna control this thing. Okay, yeah. But if you wanted to control, if you want to kind of like some control of your product, if you wanted to control that key, which person should supposed to be buy my product and things like that, then there is another product. Okay, like it's a kind of like a hosting a website or because there are kind of like a some couple of website. I'm might sure about this thing. Wait, let me know what exactly is this thing. Okay, yeah. Okay, WooCommerce or Magento. Yeah, these are kind of like some website that you are kind of like somebody willing to control everything regarding about the dispatch, regarding about payment, regarding about returns, regarding about all the queries of the customer and things like that. It will gonna all gonna control by this thing. Okay, yeah. It's open source platform. Okay, yeah. You will kind of like control everything, not only the website but as well as kind of like somebody the analytics and something like that. It is really good. It's really great. Okay, yeah. You and as also you are not kind of like a spending some sort of money to kind of like a some percentage of share, no, nothing really at all. Like at the first time you are spending some sort of money to build the website and stuff like that, and then rest of the thing is actually controlled by yourself. Okay, yeah. It's a kind of like a somebody that key renting the apartment. Okay, yeah. Amazon and Flipkart are kind of like a somebody willing to sell your product and that's it. Okay, yeah. Open source platform are kind of like a hosting or website. These are kind of like a somebody that key you buy your apartment and kind of like a control by yourself. Okay, yeah. How is it that the store look like and this and that, it just everything. Okay, yeah. Now another thing is that there is also another website regarding about the small businesses, like a small businesses can't do all those things. They don't really know aware of the technical stuff. They don't really anything at all. They just nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. So there are so many websites, Shopify or Wix or GoDaddy. These are kind of like a something very easy to use as a seller. Okay, whatever the product that you have, you just kind of like a list your product. Okay, yeah, and a kind of like a control little bit of, they will not kind of like a taking any kind of like a some percentage of share like Amazon, Flipkart does, but it kind of like a some control about deep targeting and things like that. Okay, something like that. It's kind of like some really helpful to you. So these are kind of like a only website are kind of like a work right now to sell some sort of business, online business and something like that. Okay, yeah. By the way, the information that I told you right now is not really verified at the moment, because the information is kind of like a changing all the time. Okay, yeah. It's kind of like a something the opinion that I have regarding about the experience that I get regarding about the online business. All right. Whatever. This is then. Thank you.